They're not competent because they're taught it's toxic to be competent. Mm-hmm. That's part of the issue. Could it be that when they were growing up, instead of acting more masculine and learning how to solve those problems, they were taught to be more sensitive and given gender affirming care? Maybe that was the problem. Could that be it? There has never been fewer men in the top echelon of men, but it's never been easier to get in that top echelon. All you have to do is stop listening to society.
I would like to talk about something that nobody ever points out. In the late 90s, early 2000s, divorce started becoming more common. It was a little weird, and then next thing you know it, everybody's parents were getting a divorce. With that being said, a lot of girls, mothers, showed their daughters, you have to work. A man can leave you at any time, like shit can happen. So then they let us hear women working a lot and being able to provide on their own. They cook, they clean, they also have a baby. They could do it all. So when it came to a man who couldn't do it all, we were no longer impressed. I saw this TikTok of this woman saying the extraordinary man who cooks and cleans and puts away his laundries and provides is the ordinary woman. And that's where we're at. Do you understand now? So men who aren't going to hop on the bandwagon and do their hair, have a good beard, does the laundry, cooks, cleans, we're not going to be attracted to it. And I was watching this podcast of this man saying, if I ever come across a woman saying that she don't need me, then fine, that ain't my type. Good, cross yourself out, you're too weak for me. But that's where you're not a man. A man proves himself. A man is gonna dominate that. He's gonna look at that and be like, okay, I'm gonna make you need me. And once you do that, once you make a woman realize that she can't live life without you, she does need you, you just showed you're the alpha. And that's how you get good pussy 101.
Good. All right, go ahead.
Come over and help me fix something. Sold. And actually posted something the other day. It was like a text about this guy. She said, I'm gonna have this guy come over to my house, and he was like, oh, she's like, well, can you help me hang this or whatever? And he was like, oh, I have to think about it. And she was like, actually, you know what, nah, I'm good, we're done here.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably sleeping with 2 other girls. That's why
He's already fixed like 2 cabinets.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
I just have to say
Quota has been filled.
Well, guys will do this too, because I'll see also men saying the same thing. This is really where it came from, which is guys are saying if a woman has a job and she has, she takes care of herself and she has an apartment, gone to school or whatever, congratulations, you're a full-grown adult. Right? That's pretty much the thing. So now, because that stung so bad, now women are like, well, if you can't change a tire and you can't do this and you can't do that and whatever else, well, I can do that, so what's wrong with you, kind of thing. Finding the guy who is competent. That's really all this video is about. It's about male competency is what it is.
The thing is, it's also not necessarily their fault. I will give them that, because you don't know what you don't know. Ignorance is something that you can't always necessarily help. So if you weren't taught
could it be that when they were growing up, instead of acting more masculine and learning how to solve those problems, they were taught to be more sensitive and given gender affirming care? Maybe that was the problem. Could that be it? There has never been fewer men in the top echelon of men, but it's never been easier to get in that top echelon. All you have to do is stop listening to society. Stop listening to the bad advice that you get from Justin Baldoni. Stop listening to The View. Stop listening to big tech. Stop listening to the media, the mainstream media, trying to give you terrible advice when it comes to this stuff. And I don't mean to beat up on this guy. We did the CBS News thing, and they had all these guys in high school at a round table.
I'll beat him up.
Yeah. They were just like sitting there, like talking about how they need to be more expressive in high school. And there was a teacher and his former student, and they were teaching it. And they just that CBS News doesn't bring up the fact that the guy who's telling all these men to hug each other is a homosexual man. And it's just like, and again, I'm not shaming him for being homosexual. I'm saying the idea that that's not, do you remember we talk about sympathy and empathy? A homosexual man cannot empathize with my challenges as a man attracting women. He can't. I'm sorry. He can't. And also, you can be a gay man and be provided for. As a man, I'm not going to be provided for. So you don't have empathy for my situation, but you're telling me to be more vulnerable? I'm sorry. There's a huge gap in logic right there. And so that's the thing. Going back to what you said before, they're not competent because they're taught it's toxic to be competent. That's part of the issue.
What they're being taught now is the emotion. One of my favorite things my therapist ever told me is there's no logic in emotion. There's no emotion in logic. You're either in one side of the brain or the other. And if you're in that heightened state. And so a lot of men nowadays are being taught to be in that emotional part, feel
from a very early age.
Yeah. And then it goes also to what you're saying, parents of divorce. So a lot of men are being raised by women. A woman cannot teach a man how to be a man. Point blank. Like at the end of the day, women, we know how to be women innately just as much as men know how to be men. And so if you're a man or a boy being raised in a home without a father, then you're not going to have that man sort of influence to teach you how to change a tire, how to, you know, fix a cabinet, you know, your plumbing, you're this, you're that. And you're also having a female influence of telling you to be emotional. And then don't even get me started the rabbit hole of our food and all the
The
estrogen
GMOs and everything.
and our testosterone levels are low. The sperm levels are low. It's lower than it's ever been for any generation when it comes to the younger millennials and Gen Zs and Alpha and they're
one of the most important things a woman
Thank you,
should
Myron.
be teaching.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
One of the most important.
I was going to say that a lot of like this basic competency skills, I think there's something to be said about. It's what's called creative intelligence, and women, human females, select for creative intelligence. So the studies that I've read, anyways, are they'll have these sort of fictitious men, and one is a guy who has made a lot of money and then lost that money and then made that money again. Okay, that's one. Then there's the guy who is sort of like the trust fund baby. He is very, very rich because he comes from a very rich family, never made the money back again or anything like that. Those are the main two. And of course, women will say that the guy, maybe you guys would agree, the guy who can make money, fight back from a deficit, and then creatively come up with another way to make more money, that guy is more attractive than the guy who's just won the lottery.
100%.
Absolutely. Because I feel like they're a little bit more down to earth and they understand like real life issues, where a guy who has a trust fund, they're like not touched to society and like what's actually going on.
Well, and also they have an attitude and they're bratty. They're whiners.
For the men who lose everything and then make it back, those men are resourceful. So it's like you want someone who is resourceful and that you know that no matter what, no matter how far down you get, you can claw back maybe even higher. And that's what ideally we want.
It translates. Well, I mean, the study was experimenting for creative intelligence, and is it something that is a selected for thing, right? Now, as far as sapiosexuals go, a higher intelligence for a guy is actually a turn off, but higher creative intelligence, meaning that that guy can come back from, like, it's one thing if you know everything about World War II tanks, right? And it's like, it's just this sort of useless knowledge, but you might be very intelligent. You have it. Like women are like, you know, but if it's something where you can say, okay, I made a ton of money doing this. Oh man, we're bankrupt. Now what can I come back from this? Kind of like Alex Hormozy, right? Because his wife stuck around when he was filing for bankruptcy, and then he came back.
He was $100,000. He was $100,000 in debt and sold a product, and he hadn't even written the product when he sold it. And
oh my gosh!
See, that's attractive.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Fake it
correct
till
me
you
if
make
I'm
it.
wrong. Intelligence and IQ are not the same.
Well, so sort of. I understand. I understand what you're saying. Okay, let me see if I can explain this. There is no allegory. There is no money in the ancestral period. Okay, so evolutionarily, there's no money. So the allegory for money is competency. So instead of me bringing home the Lamborghini, I bring home the meat, like the
resources.
The resource, exactly right. So you understand that. What was the question again?
So IQ and intelligence, because IQ is basically your ability to adapt.
So here's the thing.
IQ is a way we measure.
Okay, so when women say I like an intelligent man, I know a lot of intelligent men.
Yeah.
Women are not interested in. What women like are competent men. And so when I take my competency and I put it into the real world to manifest things like money and success, the term for that is competency. Does that make sense? And then women also like relevant men, but they confuse the word relevant and competent for intelligent. And it's not, I'm not saying that they're not intelligent. I'm saying that's not why you aren't into Elon Musk because he's intelligent. You're into Elon Musk because he took that intelligence and made a thing out of it.
Would you say that's synonymous with adaptability?
Adaptability would be that as well.
That's part of creative intelligence, which is improvisation, adaptation, innovation.
That's
that
true.
kind of stuff.
Intelligence.
What I'm saying is I don't know how intelligent Tom Brady is, but I know women found him attractive because he was a good quarterback, because he's competent at the thing he did. So it's like, I can't look at you and see an IQ, but what I can see is the manifestation of like how much. And then there's also things like risk taking. Risk taking is definitely more attractive to women than intelligence. This is why everyone at this table, all of you,
hey, bad boy,
all of you have dated a dealer. I already know.
That's my type.
Monica waits outside the prison.
Wow. None of them are denying it. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Being a successful risk taker is more attractive to women than intelligence, but women will tell you empathy and intelligence and kindness are the most attractive things. No, they're the most attractive things to men they're already attracted to. Go ahead.
Monica waits outside of county for the new releases.
Hey, it was 6 months in jail or out in the free world. I was really debating if it's like guys and girls. Like I could find my future husband in there.
So
I think my problem is that I think arrogance and confidence are the same thing when it comes to men. I'm like,
Sure.
To a certain level, yeah.
and
You
I'm
could
like,
play it
oh,
off. You could play it off for sure.
yes, and I'm like, no, you're, and then
No,
like 9 months down the line, I'm like, no, you're
That's
just
because
arrogant.
competence looks like arrogance because it's so fucking rare today.
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, the other thing, I had Brandy Andrews on my show, and she was talking about how she had to quit confusing physical abuse for love. It's like sometimes you get your wires crossed because of something that happens.
Quite
in your girl.
literally,
syndrome.
quite
Or-
literally in your brain,
Stockholm.
there is a physical,
Yeah.
like within your brain,
Yeah.
that they are crossed.
Or it's a situation where you had no competent male figure in your life growing up, or you're from a divorced household and your mother kept telling you that your father was Homer Simpson, he was incompetent, and so now that is the blueprint that you view, the lens with which you view every man, and now that becomes problematic.
Well, okay, but here's also the thing. There's some men that also just obviously have never gotten taught life skills, because there was times like I dated this guy when I was like 18 and he was 24. He should know better. And he used to be in the military. Like he was a Marine. He doesn't even know how to like clean a fish. Like he had no idea. He was like,
Okay, I don't know how to clean it.
Oh!
Real talk. Like,
My
I was
grandpa
about to
taught
say,
me how
like-
to skin a rabbit.
I know how to
skin a
clean a
rabbit.
fish.
But
I know how to clean up. My dad taught me right. Okay, I'm just saying.
That's some like Iowa stuff though.
I know
like skinning
hunt. I know how to
rabbits,
fish. I know how to
fish.
camp. I can make a fire out of nothing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can make a fire out of nothing, but I don't know how to clean a fish.
Right? So the
I
apocalypse.
probably do know how to clean.
figure
But I
that
just don't know.
out.
I got you
But
all
that's
the
supposed to be
rabbits.
like he was like in the military, like Marines.
You think that's
and he
what
was,
they teach us in the military?
Basic
Is that-
training
No.
is clean
no,
a fish
but
is like
survival
the third
skills.
lesson.
Yeah, survival skills. I mean, I guess maybe include cleaning a fish. It's
No.
more like eating worms.
Ants and all of that.
So something what you said is like, okay, that they're people with high IQs, but they're not competent. Those kinds of people.
Yes.
I think the reason why women are not liking them, not because maybe they're not unattractive. I feel like they have a victim mentality because
Some of them, yeah.
they whine. They think that the world is against them a lot of the time.
I think you're describing a certain type of person who is a victim, but they could have intelligence or might not have intelligence.
They have intelligence, but they don't do anything with it.
Sure. But
They
like,
think the whole world is against them.
yes, I'm just saying in general, having a victim mentality is that way.
Some people
And
use that as a strength, though,
yeah.
for themselves being that victim. Like I
Well,
just
then they're
started watching
manipulating.
Big
But then
Brother.
but yes, that's where I got it, Vince. Yes.
He used it too.
No, it's manipulation. That's where he, but he's
Weaponized
also,
incompetence.
But he weaponized his victim mentality.
Yes.
and he used it.
but he's a really
to
smart person. But
attract
he's
those
also
empathetic
somebody.
people.
Who is this?
Vince.
This guy on Big Brother,
This-
okay? It just got over. Okay. But here's also the thing, though. Like, he also lives in his mom's basement and
Yeah.
doesn't have a job.
Oh, I know.
And you know why? And it's like, okay, I know he's that same way at home where he's talking to his parents, crying every
Yep.
fucking day, saying that he's a low life and blah, 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 blah.
Help me,
And
help me.
that's how, and I'm so
feeds
glad he
me.
didn't win.
He's like, no, same. He's a vampire, and that's what some people do. They feed
He's an
off
energy
they
sucker.
feed off of empathetic people. They have that intelligence where they know they can victimize themselves
Yeah.
and seek out people that are sympathetic or empathetic to those people and will put up with.
I
their
love that you
bullshit.
picked that
and
up.
drain the
That was
energy
exactly-
out of it.
Yeah.
Suck the energy
It's,
out.
it's
yeah.
called weaponized
Okay, all right.
incompetence.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So it's like
Gotcha.
yeah.
Sure, and I don't want to work with people like that. I
No,
don't. And
No,
and-
nobody does.